We are live again.
Okay, next time, Dylan, don't unplug your bloody mic.
What I was trying to do was when Ginger went on her rant, I was trying to do a joke, and it was going to be like a whole up close to the mic ASMR-ish thing that was like 10 likes and a full Ginger rant video coming soon. You know, it was going to do something like that, just something super simple and dumb, and it fucked up the whole stream. So now we are live with Yank and Kiwi podcast, episode 36, part 2.
I don't know. I could do a full rant video. I could. No one would like it, but I could.
People love rant videos.
Well, they'd probably just do like cringe reviews of my rant videos because they're mean. I'm the one to talk.
It's a good zombie. Mummy dude.
Actually, what is it? What do you know what that is supposed to be?
It looks like an emaciated dude. So like mummified and shit.
It's it's an OC from the Batman Who Lols on Twitter.
I think is this okay. Actually?
Yeah. No, he did. Let me guess. He just provided a reference and didn't tell you what it was.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Or the colors.
No, the drawing.
I guess we can sort of guess at what it is. I mean, it looks like a zombie.
Yeah, that's why I, without any knowledge of what it is at all, was just like, oh yeah, this is clearly a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. No, I definitely think I should. I definitely chat with Matt about bringing Immortal into the Mythoverse. It just like the
scary thing with doing that is like, okay, he's there, so I should just solve all the problems. Yeah, that's why I don't like Superman, because outside of Kryptonite, he exists. And, you know, especially given the comic book storyline that decides he is just fucking on, like, it. There are, technically speaking, because every story, a lot of different storylines, you know, so there's a lot of different writers. Technically, Superman can't catch a bullet, or he can punch a star.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on the writer. So, like, depending on the writer, Superman exists. Why is there issues? Why is there ever issues? Why are there problems for the DC multiverse?
Uriel's gonna cause more problems than he solves, because he's not gonna care about solving your problems.
No, yeah, I can understand that, but I'm like, with an immortal being that is so powerful, if they have a conscious or attain a conscious and decide to use their powers for good, you know, a la Superman, a la Batman, etc. Why are there problems?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess.
And Uriel isn't gonna really get a conscious, because that just goes against the character, just from what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't have that issue with this character, but with a different one, because bringing in one means you bring them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess more or less. I guess I assumed, like, when it was called Immortal, I figured like there was going to be this whole Highlander thing where like he's lived all these different lives and been all these different people, but no, you're making it sound like the story more or less starts when he's been cast out of heaven already.
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's a little apostrophe in the title, which is basically play on words as I'm mortal. Like now he's taken over a recently dead body, so he's kind of mingling with the mortals instead of, fighting hell armies.
Mm. Yeah, what was there a reason why you guys picked Uriel? Because you said like he guarded the gates of hell or heaven? Because I thought if it was heaven, I thought that was Gabriel.
No, I mean maybe.
I think Gabriel's the one who guards the gates of heaven. I mean, like,
I wish Bruce was here right now.
I'll look it up right. You know what? I'll look it up right now.
From what I recall, and my Christianity, everything isn't very strong. But from what I recall, Gabriel is the gatekeeper of heaven, and he is the one that is able to let you into heaven. And that he's
the bouncer.
He's the bouncer per se, yeah. And then, but that doesn't necessarily mean that other angels couldn't guard heaven's gates.
I also think like Gabriel's supposed to be God's herald as well.
Yeah. Now I could be wrong with that last assumption of like, yeah, just because Gabriel guards heaven's gates and is basically the bouncer with the ability to open the gates for you, doesn't mean that other angels couldn't guard it as well. I could be wrong there.
Yeah, probably that might be it. And also, like, there's like I said, he also has a role as being like God's messenger, essentially. Like he appears a lot. Like he appears a lot through the Bible to several key figures, basically passing along a task or a message to them.
This is really good cider.
So what's Uriel's role in the larger mythology then?
Of the comic or of Christianity?
I guess, yeah, in Christianity, because like I got raised Protestant. This was not a like individual angels wasn't really a thing.
Yeah. Well, basically, just from what I've read, I mean, again, we're making up a lot of the lore. There isn't that much on Uriel.
It's like it says on his Wikipedia page, his patronage is sacrament of confirmation and poetry.
You turned a poet into a warrior, right? You should be proud.
Hey, there's such a thing as a warrior poet.
Oh yeah, no, fucking war bards up in here.
Actually, dude, if you're still like fleshing him out, that you might have. There's actually a thing to add to his character.
Yeah, still fleshing him out. Man, this dead body that I'm inhabiting, its vocal cords are quickly deteriorating. I can't sing anymore. I'm sad.
Or maybe he has an affinity for poetry. Like he likes.
How many years did you spend fleshing him out?
Like 11.
Okay, then. Okay, if you spent 11 years fleshing him out, then you definitely do not. You probably do not need me or Dylan's input on him at this point.
Well, my input is good, but you know.
Yeah.
It's just to highlight how much of a passion project this is.
No, again, it's like I've spent 11 years thinking of my own ideas. I've done probably 3 hours of research. So
you did 11 years. You don't need our input. So, like, what did you find out on him then?
I've forgotten a lot of it now. But yeah, what I read was that he was out kind of on the front lines defending the walls of heaven from, the demon army. And he supposedly has a tattoo of a bull on his chest. Which that won't really come into it.
Okay, so like, so aside from sort of not really having a sense of humor and being kind of mad all the time, is that so? Like, do you like have a? Is there anything you can tell about like what the larger story is without spoiling anything?
Yeah. So it'll mostly be about Uriel just having his place on Earth, and they, like him and Anubis and Horus and Sin, get into trouble with different monsters and gods and just things from different mythologies, other demons, other angels will occasionally be a problem. But things like more powerful demons and other angels will be pretty rare. For the most part, it's just going to be like lower level things. And it'll sort of ramp up over time. But
Dylan, do you have a door open? Open, because I could hear something going on in the background on your end.
It's just loud. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the general flow of it will be that over time, Uriel becomes more and more of a problem for...
Yeah, after this, whenever we're done, I'm going to be helping decorate the tree. And that'll be real fun.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, it's... Okay, so he's not really much of a hero, is he?
No. Him saving the world is kind of incidental. He wants to kill the thing.
I mean, I want to kill the thing. That's how I play games.
Yeah.
Me and Uriel will be soulmates right up here.
Yeah. And that's why he wasn't sent to hell. He would be right at home there. He would just have so much to kill.
It kind of sounds... Okay.
He was sent to Earth because it would be more frustrating how fragile everything is.
So if he's been sent to Earth and the larger arc of the story is that he's going to cause more problems than he solves, is he essentially going to be the cause of the apocalypse or something?
Yeah, some of them.
Some of them?
Some of the apocalypses.
Yes.
Great guy.
That could be an issue because I don't know if we. I don't know. I don't think we've gotten around to even discussing whether or not apocalypses were even ever going to be a thing in the Mythoverse. Because I have issue because I've got issues with apocalypse storylines, and this was something Buffy did a lot. Like at the end of every season, there was another apocalypse, and it's like. You keep foiling one apocalypse after another, it starts to lose its threat.
Yeah, even they were making fun of it, like when another apocalypse would show up, and they're just like, again? Like,
I don't think it will rely on apocalypses, but stuff can happen. I don't see them being kind of on the same planet or in the same dimension as Maeve.
No.
So
yeah, I was thinking it would be sort of more of a multiverse thing.
Yeah, but you could cross over for an event.
Yeah.
Let's see. Would be funny. Kind of like that story with Regina and the Furrycon.
Oh yeah. Well, the difference is that I actually it's not just an alternate universe. Regina's actually living in Maeve's universe.
I know, but what's it? What's the thing in Aberdeen? That anomaly.
Oh yeah, the warp stream. Like because what happens is there's a river in the Green River over in Aberdeen. It has sort of like this dimensional tear in it that goes into other universes, and all kinds of weird shit come out of it occasionally. And sometimes Maeve and her friends travel into it.
There you go. I think that's how it can tie in.
Like I said, I don't. Just so, given what you described about Immortal, like, I'm like, sure, Maeve fits in there, but but Regina can definitely jump in there. That's right up her alley.
I think that's if there's any like crossover events, Uriel doesn't have to do a lot because say Sen, Horus, and Anubis, they have a lot to offer in terms of personality, so you could make a really fun story, whereas say Uriel was just there destroying a city in the background while everyone was busy doing something fun.
In terms of conversation and stuff, Uriel's pretty one note.
Yeah. And so what, he's not the main character then?
He is.
He's the main character. Wow, this might be the first time I came across a main character that was intentionally made to be like one-dimensional.
Yeah, I know.
Like what kind of what was the thought process behind that? Because that's interesting. Because like I said, like everyone wants the main character to be interesting, to be 3-dimensional in some, but you instead just decided no, just give him like 1 dimension and that's it.
Yeah, well, I mean that's gonna play into the humor of it a lot. Kind of how basic he is, how inept he is at generally fitting into human society and that kind of thing.
Interesting.
Because it's not just a URL title, because
No.
shows to have a very basic comparison, a show like Community wouldn't work with just one character.
Yeah.
Okay, I
For
see.
example.
So it's more of an ensemble cast.
Yeah, they play off each other. It's fun. They have very different personalities. They sort of care about each other in different ways. Like, I guess Uriel to his capacity.
Yeah.
As much as he generally doesn't care about anyone, but maybe he will more than he realizes, but not in a sappy Doctor Who way.
No. He will grow to have a sort of bond. And obviously he's been friends with Anubis and Horus for a long time.
Yeah, but they're much happier to see him than he is to see them, which isn't to say that he doesn't care about them, like he doesn't use them or anything. It's just that his capacity only goes so far.
Yeah.
Whereas theirs is they will feel a lot more in terms of companionship.
Yeah, so he was created to destroy, so a lot of other emotional elements and
weren't really built into him.
Yeah,
they don't exist.
He's more or less a robot.
Yeah, kind of.
Speaking of robots, but not about your thing, being more literal with the robot thing. I'm a little sad that the so I'm in. This is a D&D thing. I'm playing a Warforged monk. Brett knows how crazy I am when I'm a monk.
He essentially turns into Saitama.
I can turn into Saitama, and I have built laser Saitama, I guess. So I'm playing a Warforged. I'm a robot. And there's a whole bunch of neat little things, like I don't need to sleep or eat. You know, to regain class stuff, I still need to spend time resting, but I'm not actually asleep. It's like a sleep mode for a computer. And in that game, we've only had one session where I'm in it, and I joined late and things like that. And the holidays have prevented me from playing this game. There are so many fun little like theming things I've done, and I've talked a little bit with that DM and stuff because it's not Brett that's running this.
Yeah, I don't run D&D.
Yeah, but I'd run D&D for you.
If I had more time,
I'd run a module. I wouldn't build something that I suck at building. I suck at world building. I'm great at encountercraft.
Yeah, if we weren't already doing werewolf, or if I'd probably be down for that.
Yeah. But regardless, so I'm a space robot. I'm literally a space robot. There's no such thing as Warforged on the world that they're in, and when I wake up, because I wake up and like boot up and things, I'm in a space pod, and I'm in like inside of a meteorite and things. And I've talked a little bit with the DM and stuff, and basically, so I am a I have to remember the full anagram. It's Frontline Combat Unit Mark 15.
Frontline
classification monk. Like, and then that in itself is another anagram. And the like how the scariness of like this thing is like I built a cool thing. I made Element Monk, which I had not played in a while, which is a monk that you know can bend fire and things like that. It's very fun. And I've got things like I got a lot of fire-based attacks that are flamethrowers. I've got chains that are broken, but I can get them repaired fairly easily. That can light on fire and things. To use Step of the Wind, one of the like primary monk abilities, it's a passive thing. I got like little jet boosters and wheels that come on my feet and stuff. I've got grav boots and an air cannon that aren't functional. And I have a lot of broken parts. I have a lot of broken things inside of my systems and things. And those are all going to be repaired and stuff. And that's how I'm theming my level ups. Because in D&D, I've noticed quite a lot that people don't really think about how they level up and what that looks like on to their character and how that character actually changes. People very rarely do. So with my character, you know, I am repairing my body so that I am back to my peak physical form, because this guy is supposed to basically be level 20, but had a very harsh reset. Yeah. And yeah, so that's something that happened, and that's real fun. So I built the way this is like ties into Uriel and stuff for you is that I very much know how the robotic character functions, and I also know how the robotic character is at least it hasn't happened because we have not played, but the character that is supposed to gain a personality and develop and stuff like a person despite not being one beforehand works. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited, and that makes me really excited for Uriel because I already know how that character works, so I know I'm going to like Uriel a whole lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good. Honestly, when I was describing it before, I was like, "These guys think I'm full of shit."
No, I was eating that shit up. I was like, "Oh hell yeah! I'm gonna have to talk about this." Yeah. I play a lot of D&D. I've got in 5th edition, I have had the luxury of playing with some really chill people, and excuse me, and I played a Kenku fairly recently, and that was really fun. So for those of you in the stream and listening that don't know, Kenku can't talk. They are mute. And you know, that means you can do hand signs, you know, and the weird thing is they're mute, but they're not mute because they have a racial ability where if they hear you talk, they can perfectly mimic your voice, and it gives them like, I think, advantage, or like they have automatic proficiency in deception and stuff when it comes to those kinds of things. So as a bird man, I can make you, if I stay hidden, I can make you think that another orc is around if I have heard an orc talk before. I can only mimic though, so I can never make like new words.
That's cool.
It is. It really is. It was really fun because in that game it's based on Assassin's Creed. So we are all rogues, and we are chaotic good in alignment and stuff. And it's really fun because obviously we are essentially the Assassin's Guild. We go kill X, try to stay hidden, stuff like that. My character, that entire thing, got caught like 5 times, and each one of those times he got caught by the help, by like maids and things, and he would just basically, and he never got into a scuffle, they never screamed, nothing. He just would point at them and then like point to an exit that he just made, like, and stuff, and just tell them to leave, and they always did. It was great up until, and this part sucked. Like this was going off. I was undamaged. I had and all sorts of things, and I hadn't had any like serious fights in that entire session and stuff. And then someone who is clearly a rogue, like in class, is dressed up as a sexy like French maid. Right. She's rifling through this a desk and things, and it looks like she's cleaning it to me because she's rolling really, really well to like stay hidden and act like the help. So I'm like, all right, this is another maid. I'm gonna do what I've been doing, and I just like tap her on the side, and immediately like my beak, because I'm a bird, my beak gets chipped and stuff, and I take some damage and stuff, and she's got a knife. And she's just like, "The fuck are you doing?" And I'm just like, "Ah!" And I just bird screech at her, just mad. And it takes a couple rounds, but I kill her ass. I'm just covered in blood, and I'm angry because none of my friends, because obviously I did not travel alone, none of my friends helped me.
Wow.
Because they weren't around and stuff. And then we find a normal maid, an NPC without class levels, and I shoot her ass on sight because she's dressed the same way. And I just had a very scary encounter with, because there's the French maid and then there's a normal looking maid. So in character, I had a reason to do this. Immediately afterwards, a character, one of the players had a reason that was an out of character, like metagaming reason, to start killing NPCs that were just like random civilians. The issue with this is that we are essentially the Assassin's Creed Assassin's Guild. Yeah. We don't kill needlessly. And if this were based, and this is based off of the games and everything like that, the games, you get one warning, and then you're pulled out of the simulation if you kill more than one person that isn't your target or isn't like part of the actual armed forces that you're supposed to fight against. Yeah. So what happens in a D&D game? Well, you can't just say, okay, you killed 2 NPCs that were just no class levels and were going to be no threat, and they didn't see you, and you just killed them. We can't say, okay, you killed 2 of them, and the entire session is reset. Yeah. We can't do something like that. So it's just a thing that happens, and in D&D, it would just make more bodies and make it easier to track us. That's bad. I had an in-character reason, and he had a metagaming reason, and very big, very different. And I said and in that session, I told him like, dude, my character is going to feel bad that he did this because he acted in self-defense, like he acted in a self-preservation. I almost died 4 or 5 seconds ago because someone who was way harder to kill than they should have was dressed just like this person. I am making sure that me and my 2 friends are safe. So I shot her like in the throat, and she died.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, breaking news! I just found out from Tank that Rags went into a 4th printing.
Oh,
ooh,
nice.
This thing is turning into a gold mine for Antarctic Press.
Oh no, I bet.
And I somehow get the feeling that hitching my wagon to theirs is going to do a lot of good for Changeling down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started changing, I was kind of in Comicsgate. I was really more of a supporter than an active participant. But I kind of like glommed onto the movement just because it seemed like that was where most of the eyes were going. But then when I found out about how Brian and Trent broke away from it, and I mean, they were never technically part of it to begin with, but the thing with when Mark Waid got Anarch Press to turn down Jawbreakers, that was when that was kind of when their relationship with Comicsgate turned from being what's the best way of putting it? It went from just we're not part of you to openly antagonistic. Like because they kind of got dogpiled on for not throwing in with the Comicsgate crowd, even though they said they never wanted to be part of it. And after this happened, like they wanted nothing. They absolutely wanted nothing to do with Comicsgate after that. Like they absolutely hated it. And I don't really blame them. And like when I got the okay from Brian to use Regina, it's like I started thinking to myself, how can I in good conscience use their character and still be part of this movement?
I think the problem of the movement is that there'll be people who have way too much free time on social media.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just ruin things for everyone.
I don't disagree with that, but it's just more like I kind of left out of because I respected them way too much.
Yeah.
And it's just like I thought to myself, like if I'm going to use Regina, I don't think like I said, that wasn't a decision I made lightly. Like I just thought to myself, like I was just because that's what like I said, it was just something that I thought to myself, it just didn't feel right doing anymore.
Yeah.
It was just mainly done out of respect for them. And I almost took a little heat for that, and I was just lucky my profile was so low at the time. What heat I did get just basically came and went. Although I did get one salty boy tell me, "I'm never buying your book now." And I was like, okay.
Just one comment. Use a bitch.
I quote tweeted him with I did better. I quote tweeted him with some Simple Plan lyrics.
Welcome to my life.
No, how could this happen to me?
Oh, dear.
I've made my mistakes.
Nowhere to run. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I was just lucky to have such a low profile at the time, and because like Mindy Wheeler walked away from Comicsgate recently, and she is net like she's practically getting torched in effigy right now.
Well, as I say, the problem with movements is there's a whole lot of people in them, and some are just over enthusiastic, and they just like trying to win these little battles and getting approval from.
So it's just in the up next section. I just decided to actually look at it. It's in the up next section on for me on the YouTube. Do you guys want to talk about the most recent death battle?
Well, actually, I still had a little bit more to go with my story, just because like all
right then.
Which is the only thing left. Well, I think about the only thing left after that was that because I've been sticking with Brian and Trent for so long, I've kind of been realizing like what the I think I've kind of figured out. I've kind of figured out what's probably going to work in the future, and that's sort of why I decided not to go with a crowdfunding campaign and just stick with the Patreon model.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, like for one, I mean, like the thing with Indiegogos is like they're kind of like a one and done deal.
Yeah.
Whereas a Patreon, you can keep this going for much longer. For like, if you're doing it right, you could keep it going indefinitely in theory.
I mean, yeah.
Or as long as indefinitely is.
Hmm.
So it just seems like the right call to me. All right, so the most recent death battle, Dylan, is that the one between Jirai from Naruto and Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah. So I watched it when it came out, just like Claylix. I don't disagree with their decision on Roshi winning. His overall feat state, in my mind, like speak for themselves. He is far faster than light. The issue that Death Battle typically does is that they lowball a lot of characters, and they did the same in Roshi in my mind. But like just using the because the massive Rasengan that Jiraiya is able to create can carve into mountains, because eventually, and it could carve through a mountain with the right circumstances. The issue is that with the Rasengan, the chakra control needed the sphere becomes destabilized as more pressure gets put onto it, and that's why it eventually dissipates. Even though, by series and in Naruto, she'd be able to just walk around with it all the time and just bitch slap people until they die, and it would just be this one Rasengan the whole time. It's just the integrity of the sphere can be compromised, and that's why it's a mountain carver, not a mountain like cutter. Like it doesn't cut through the mountain; it carves into it. So that's why the Master Rasengan does that. Roshi's Kamehameha, the very first one you ever see in original Dragon Ball, not only carves into a mountain, it turns a mountain to ashes.
Actually, rubble
And ashes, and then the castle on top of it all crumbles. Most likely partially because of the Kamehameha itself, but also probably because of gravity and just hitting the ground from the peak of the mountain that doesn't exist there anymore. So the majority of that rubble, like a large majority of that rubble that is explored and that you see, is the castle. And then what isn't the castle is just the remnants of an entire gigantic mountain that he turned to smithereens with a single blast. And it took just about everything he had, granted. But that's original Dragon Ball. Technically, as we see him, Roshi arguably at his weakest, because Roshi is an old man now. He may be stronger technically than he was when he was in his prime, just because of the things because he hadn't had as much training and other things like that. But technically speaking, we can argue that Roshi is weaker than he could be because he's not in his physical prime. So, in early Dragon Ball, their physical power, as far as like their signature attacks, is a moot point. Roshi's way more powerful. They were taking an amalgamate Roshi, kind of, because it's Roshi. They talk about things that Roshi can do throughout the entire series, and then later on they talk about how like fast he is by Resurrection F and stuff. And then they also talk about the Tournament of Power in the manga, which technically isn't fully canon and shit like that, but they still talk about the anime, which is, and other things like that. Roshi is definitely far faster than Jiraiya is, and far stronger. But Genjutsu, because my main issue with the death battle is the animation. At the end, because the animation was on point, it was great. You know, used Gemabunta, everything.
Mhm.
Like Jiraiya pulled out all his stops, and Roshi the same. Roshi has basically jumped towards, because Roshi cannot fly. He has jumped at Jiraiya. Jiraiya has used the Ma and Pa's Genjutsu to put him in the Genjutsu. There's two things. One, in the Genjutsu, it's a mental, like, astral projection of Jiraiya stabbing you with a sword. And also physically actually stabs you with a sword. Like, he physically stabs you with a sword, and his astral projection does the same thing. That means that Jiraiya, because he's still facing a moving Roshi, sees a moving Roshi. It's not like he teleported in there but could still be attacked from the outside. So there's one issue there. The other is that Jiraiya is in Sage mode because he's actually using Ma and Pa. Sage mode has sensory capabilities out the wazoo. It's amazing. Naruto, when we first see him using perfect toad sage mode, he is able to sense all the living people and all the empty areas within that net of chakra that represent the dead people. And he names Kakashi as like a named example of this. He cannot sense Kakashi, asks if he's on a mission, and Tsunade stays quiet. So then Naruto knows that Kakashi is dead.
I'd get angry if you spoiled Naruto for me, but I haven't watched Naruto in years.
That's fair. And that's in Shippuden. So Sage mode has, like, when you're a perfect sage, because Jiraiya is not a perfect sage. Sage mode has that level of sensory capabilities. That's insane. The Hidden Leaf Village is a massive area, and Naruto has such a fine-tuned, with barely ever, this is the first time he's ever actually used Sage mode and stuff while not on the Toad's Island. So maybe it's the second time he's actually ever used it, you know? It's the second time he's ever used it, and he already is so fine-tuned that he can tell different people's chakra from a massive at a massive distance. Jiraiya, who has way more understanding of Sage mode because he's had it for so much longer, while yes, incomplete, which limits the range, would at minimum sense Roshi and just move out of the way. And guess what? Roshi is and Jiraiya's Genjutsu is locking you in the cage mentally and spiritually. That's what the Ma and Pa Sage mode or Genjutsu does. Jiraiya doesn't need to use the big sword to kill you. He does that because you are indisposed and he doesn't want you to free yourself of the Genjutsu, so he kills you. He doesn't know that Roshi can't break the Genjutsu, but guess what? There's water everywhere. He's going to drown anyway. So Jiraiya can just leave, and that's why Jiraiya wins. I think that as far as the animation goes, Jiraiya would win based on what was going on. In a full-out fight where things happened a different way, Roshi would win. That's what I think. I know a lot about Dragon Ball and a lot about Naruto, so
couldn't tell.
Yeah, couldn't tell.
On Twitter, Liz Finnegan just tweeted exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, and I'm assuming the Eagles just won.
Good. I just got a text. I need to go help with the tree. I think we're done.
All right. Yeah, that's fine, Dylan. That's fine, Dylan.
How's your drawings, Ginger?
They're okay. Can't see them, but they're okay.
Oh, looks like are they just finishing them up.
This is me drawing right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I like his beard.
All right.
Actually,
So
like this one, I'm not super happy with. For most of the time I was drawing it, me pen pressure wasn't working. So
That's a shame.
It's working now.
yeah, it's working now.
Oh.
all right, you ready? All right, you ready? Okay. Kill the feed. Hey, Dylan.
All right. Bye, people.
Bye.
Hi.
Goodbye.
See you next week.